Hi everyone, and welcome to another live session from the series Engineering Qualification Validation in Australia. And in this live session, I will be talking about the checklist for your validation process preparation in 2022. And important things you need to start thinking about to start the new year, focus on your life transformation. But first, for those that don't know me, my name is Gerson Ida, and I'm the founder of the website www.engineersinaustralia.com, a website to share content of value and useful information to help you in your journey to validate your engineering qualification in Australia. And they also share information about workplace health and safety, environmental management, day-to-day of engineering in Australia, and about professional engineering recruitment as well. And if you're interested in participating in the next free workshop, I want to become an engineer in Australia, that will start on the 6th of March. You can register using the link that I'm going to copy and paste in the comments. I'm just going to copy and paste in there. So pasting in Instagram, also in YouTube, and I'm going to paste in Facebook. So that's fairly straightforward. When you click on this link, you just need to put your name and your email address, and that's it. You are registered to the next online free workshop. I want to become an engineer in Australia. That's going to start on 6th of March, where in 1 week, I will teach you everything you need to know to start your validation process. And also, if you haven't joined the Telegram group yet, I've got a Telegram group called Engineering Qualification Validation with more than 790 members. If you want to be part of the group, it's a free group. It's where I share some information and also some posts about the validation process, some job opportunities when I know. So it's fairly useful to be part of that. And the PDF of tonight's live session, I'm going to post in the Telegram group as well. So let's get down to the business now, and I'm really happy to be here to share with you what I think it's important to be in your checklist in preparation for your validation process in 2022. And please note that this checklist is based on my own experience with the process and also based on the many applications I've seen already. So it could be slightly different for you depending on your situation, but obviously this information is general information, and which I believe will help most of you. So just interesting to know, have you guys started your validation process yet, or how are you in this process? Are you in the beginning? Are you in the middle? Or perhaps you are already validated? If you please put in the comments what's your status now, so I know the audience, and then I can tailor the talk tonight as well. And I'll keep an eye on the comments. So the first topic, and I mentioned that I'm going to create a PDF. So this is the copy of the PDF that I will be preparing tonight. I spent some time to putting this together. So that's a checklist for your validation process preparation in 2022. And the first item in the checklist is about the documentation. So, and this PDF is the one that I'm going to post in the Telegram group. So if you're not part of the Telegram group yet, you can go to the comments, and I left the link there. So you just need to download the app if you don't have it yet, and then click on the link and then be part of the group, and I'm going to send the PDF there. All right, so first item in the list, as I said, is about documentation. So you need to have your recent color photo, your identification document, can be your passport or national identity card. If it is not in English language, you've got to make sure that you have your translation together with your national identity card. You also need to have your curriculum vitae or your resume. And if you change your name, then you need to provide a change of name document. The second item in the list is about experiences. You have to think about and do like a little bit of a brainstorming activity. Think about the experiences, the engineering experiences that you've had at the university or at work. So both academic and work. Try to list your engineering experiences. And it's important to have, every time that you think about an engineering experience, it's important to have your supporting documentation, like pictures, photos, diagrams, tables, calculations, formulas, AutoCAD drawings, testing results, software outputs, technical manuals that you developed, and etc. Why is that important? Because when you're writing your career episodes for your validation process, you will need to demonstrate evidences, and those supporting documentation will be your evidence. Also, it's important to think about your academic reports of subjects or your assignments, especially if you don't really have work experience that you can use in your career episode. If you don't have work experience, you will have to use academic experience. And also your final course assignment or thesis, especially if you did a master's degree or something like that, or if you're just using your bachelor degree, you usually would have your final assignment, like a TCC, trabalho de conclusão de curso, where where you will probably use that final assignment as a basis of your career episode, at least one of them. The other item in the list is about English test. So just reminding that you can have 3 types of English tests that you can use in your validation process. The first one being IELTS, second one TOEFL, or your PTE academic. And you need to make sure that those results, they have at least a minimum score for each of the 4 bands. And those bands are reading, listening, writing, and speaking. What are the minimum scores for each of the 4 bands? They are in the Migration Skills Assessment booklet of Engineers Australia. So just make sure that you read very carefully the booklet as well, because it has everything you need to know about the validation process as well. And those English tests, they need to be less than 3 years on the date of the application. So if you've done the test, let's say January 2018, so it's already 4 years. So it is already expired. So you need to do another test. But if you did your test sometime in 2019 or 2020, it's still less than 3 years, so you still can use it. And you can provide also 2 exams if you need to combine exams to demonstrate the minimum score in all 4 bands. But you've got to remember that both exams, they need to be from the same test type. So if you're presenting IELTS, 2 exams, you've got to have IELTS and IELTS. You cannot mix IELTS and PTE, for example. And both need to be less than 3 years old as well. So I'm going to show you again the PDF. So that's the PDF here. So for you to get hold of this PDF, what I'm going to do, where's my phone? I don't have my phone here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a picture of this front page, and I'm going to do a post in my Instagram account profile. So what I would like you to do for me to put this PDF available in the Telegram group. I would like you to like the post and then write in the comments, I want to become an engineer in Australia. So that is the positive statement that you will do today or tomorrow to set yourself for your validation process in 2022. So again, I'm going to do a post in my Instagram profile after this live session, and then you just need to like the post and write in the comments, I want to become an engineer in Australia. If I have some engagement, I will then make this Word document as a PDF, and I'm going to send the PDF in the Telegram group. But the PDF will be protected by a password that I'm going to release towards the end of this live session. All right. Okay, so keep going with the dot points in the checklist. The other item in the checklist is academic evidences. So that's very important as well, because when you are applying for your validation, you will need to submit the copy of the original of your academic degree certificate. So you got your original academic degree certificate, you need to scan and then send that one there to Engineers Australia. If it's not in English language, you need to also send the translation. Any other post-graduation certificates or academic transcripts. And a lot of people, they ask about the course syllabus. Course syllabus is in Portuguese would be ementa, which is the description of each of the subjects. Normally, Engineers Australia, they don't really ask for the course syllabus, especially because it's got a lot of pages. If you have to translate, you spend a lot of money. But usually they don't. But you never know. The assessor could ask you to send a copy of the course syllabus. The other item in the checklist, it would be work evidences. That's very important. You will need to have a reference letter from your employer or former employer if you are using a work experience in your career episode. Also, if you include in your resume that you perform engineer work for more than 12 months in a company, Engineers Australia usually ask for a reference letter as well. And obviously, if you're applying for the RSEA, the Relevant Skilled Employment Assessment, you also need to provide a reference letter. And a lot of people ask, what do I need to put in the reference letter? In the booklet, Migration Skills Assessment booklet of Engineers Australia, you have a very detailed description of what a reference letter needs to have. And also in my workshop, I explain all this process in very detail as well. Another item in your checklist, it's not really documental, it's not about the process, but it's about mindset. So I think it's very important to have in your checklist mental preparedness. And why is that? Because the question that you got to ask yourself is, are you mentally ready for the challenge? The validation process is a challenge. It's not easy. It's not complex. It's fairly simple. It's got just 6 steps, but it's not easy because you need to do a lot of preparation. You need to do a lot of writing. You need to match competencies, including in your career episodes. You need to write 3 career episodes. You need to write your CPD, your continuing professional development. You need to write your summary statement. And also you need to include all your supporting evidences and all the documents. So it's not easy. There's a lot of work. So it is a challenge. So are you mentally ready for the challenge? Is 2022 the year that you're going to be validated as an engineer? So perhaps if you don't have a New Year's resolution yet, perhaps that could be a very good one. You need to list also the other competing priorities. And I'm going to mention some of them. work, study, leisure, or travel, Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, PlayStation. They all competing priorities. And why are those competing priorities? Because they all competing for your time. And the validation process will require you some time. You will need to invest few hours a week to put together your validation process. And few hours a week may not look a lot, but when you are competing with work, study, leisure, Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, PlayStation, WhatsApp, etc., a few hours a week, sometimes you don't really have it. So you need to think about what are the other competing priorities. You also need to list the roadblocks you need to remove so you can prioritize the validation process. What are your roadblocks? Maybe your roadblock is to get information from the company that you worked for. Maybe the roadblock is to get copies of the reports of your university when you did that assignment and you don't have that report anymore. So you have to list the roadblocks. Also, another thing in the mental preparedness is if you have support from your family, partner, friends, sharemates. Why do I put sharemates? Because sometimes if you are here in Australia, very common that you share an unit or an apartment or a house with friends. They are your sharemates. And if you are dedicated to validate your qualification, you will have to spend time, you will have to have some, cooperation because you need some silence. You probably need not to be tempted to go out all the time. So your family, partner, friends, and sharemates, they need to know that it is a priority for you and you will dedicate some time for yourself. You also need to exercise time management. Prioritize the activities you will put an effort. Also, it's a good idea to have a migration plan. And for that, you need to consult a registered migration agent and put together a migration plan to maximize your time in Australia and minimize the waste of time and money. The other item in the checklist is financial preparedness. Put together a budget for the validation process. Understand how much you will need to spend on English tests, translations, courses, if you need to improve your English to get your minimum test results, visa fees, mentor investment if you're thinking about doing some mentoring, extra time in Australia. Perhaps you decided now that you want to validate your qualification, but you were not thinking about it. So you need to spend another 6 months or 1 year here. So extra time in Australia means accommodation, food, leisure, transport, etc. So list the things can consume your money and prioritize them. So that's about the financial preparedness. Learning events. It's very important item in the checklist. You need to list your CPD events, your continuing professional development. Also learning events that have occurred after the graduation. Those learning events that occurred before graduation, they don't really count on your CPD. Also, any post-graduation studies, your participation in conferences or seminars, either as a presenter or a participant, workshops, site visits, technical inspections, technical meetings, or presentations that you did. Also short courses related to your engineering field, volunteering engineering work that you've done, and also private studies, which means the reading of technical magazines, reading of technical specifications, even legislation. Some of the legislation is considered to be private studies. Also reading on websites. Perhaps you attended, you read some technical article on a website, especially Engineers Australia website. So those are the things. There's so many other things, but I'm conscious of time, and want to make sure that you guys have a broad idea of the things that you need to start thinking about. If you decided that 2022 is going to be the year that you're going to get validated, and perhaps today is the 2nd of January, I am here every week. Just because the 2nd of January, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be here. I am here because I've got a commitment with you guys, and I want to start this this live session of 2022, giving you a list of the things that you should be thinking. So during your validation process in 2022 is going to be much easier. So just going to double check if there is any questions there. There are some questions in YouTube. It's in Portuguese. I'm going to translate simultaneously. Yeah, good morning, Gerson. What exam of proficiency you can refer? I am studying for the PTE now. Yeah, good morning, FZ. I don't know your name, but it's FZ. Well, depends on each person will have more probably alignment with one particular English test. When I did mine, there was just one option. I could just do IELTS, so I did IELTS. Nowadays, you can do IELTS, TOEFL, or PTE. I did TOEFL when I was in Brazil. I've never done PTE. A lot of people, they say that PTE is easier because you are doing the test with a computer. You kind of eliminate the human interpretation of the things. But other people, they say that IELTS, they are more structured. Even though there is the human factor, they prefer IELTS. So what I probably suggest you to do is try to do some simulation exams of IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE, and see what's your style. Some people, they say, even though a lot of people, they go towards PTE, a lot of people, they prefer IELTS because it suits their style. A lot of people, they go to PTE because it suits their style. So one thing that I can say is that regardless of the English test that you're going to do, you need to understand how to do the exam. It's not just learning and knowing how to read, speak, or interpret. You need to know the tricks of each exam. So IELTS will have their tricks, TOEFL will have their tricks, and PTE will have their tricks. So you need to prepare yourself for the exam that you're going to do, because each one will have its own particular tricks. Jonathan, he's asking in YouTube, I worked as an engineer in my own company, Gerson. How do I do in this case to demonstrate experience? Yeah, that's a very good question, Jonathan. I actually talk at length about this one when you are the owner of the company, or if you are a self-employed, autônomo in Portuguese. In video number 2 of my workshop, I actually talk in length about it. But basically, what you need to do is to start getting some letters from your customers. Also, you need to make sure that you've got your tax return, imposto de renda, showing all your income and revenue. So you need to talk with your accountant to make sure that those ones, they go to your tax return. You're probably going to have your tax invoices, which are the notas fiscais. Also, the payment of your social security and FGTS, the superannuation here. So when you are a self-employed, or if you're the owner of the company, obviously the contract of the company that shows that you are the owner, and then all the other supporting documents. Because what Engineers Australia they want to know is if you worked as an engineer in that period for that company doing some activities, and you need to demonstrate that. Okay, but thank you very much, Jonathan, for the question. I'll check Facebook if there is any question there. No questions in Facebook. And no questions in Instagram as well. All right. So yeah, I certainly hope that this checklist has been helpful and assist you in preparation for your validation journey in 2022. And again, I'm going to send this PDF here to the Telegram group. So if you're not part of the Telegram group, the link is in the comments. I will take a picture after the live session of this page, and I'm going to post in my Instagram profile. So what you need to do is to like the post and write in the comments, I want to become an engineer in Australia. So that's your positive statement for 2022. And the password of this PDF, when I send in Telegram, is going to be engineer in Australia all together. So it's going to be like this, engineer in Australia, all together, lowercase, no spaces, okay, engineer in Australia. So that's going to be the password. All right. Other than that, I would like to thank you guys very much. And next Sunday, 8:30 p.m., I'm going to talk about another checklist, which is a checklist how to get your first professional job here in Australia as an engineer. So if you want to know how you can increase your chances to get a job as an engineer here in Australia, don't miss out the next live session next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time, 7:30 a.m. in Brazil. And thanks very much for those ones in Brazil that woke up early on a Sunday and participated in the live session. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.